Over the last 2 to 3 years, I have been fueled by two things. My intense desire to want to go back to Japan and reigniting the Pokemaniac within me. So when I was planning my trip back, I made it a mission to go to every Pokemon Center in Tokyo. Just a small note, there were 2 Pokemon Centers that are considered in the greater Tokyo metropolitan area, but they're pretty far away, and I wasn't able to make it to those 2, so this covers the 4 in the immediate metropolitan area. I hope you have as much fun watching this as I did recording it. So the first Pokemon Center I decided to travel to was the Tokyo Skytree Pokemon Center. This Pokemon Center opened on July 6, 2016, and it's located on the 5th floor of the Skytree town, directly underneath the Tokyo Skytree. Rayquaza is the flagship Pokemon at this Pokemon Center. The promo card you received at the grand opening of this Pokemon Center was a shiny Rayquaza promo card. So it's all Rayquaza in this place, baby. When you finally make it up the 5 floors of escalator, you're immediately met with Rayquaza. There's a giant Rayquaza statue coming out of the ceiling right when you walk up, with Pikachu adorably riding on Rayquaza's back. It is an amazing first impression. Most of the merchandise that you're going to see and you're going to find in each of the Pokemon Centers is going to be very similar. There are going to be some minor differences, especially in the Kyoto Pokemon Center, just because that one, the feel of it is very different and it has some exclusive stuff that you're not going to find at some of the others. But for the most part, you're going to see very similar products across the board. And the products you're going to find in these Pokemon Centers are going to be accessories for the card game, and you're going to see so many different plushies. There's going to be plateware and silverware and like household products and decorations. And I went in the middle of November, and after November 1st, Japan is very much in Christmas mode. So there were quite a few Christmas exclusive items when I was there. Christmas Pikachus, Christmas Delibirds. I think there was a Mr. Mime ugly sweater. Mr. Mime! When you're walking through, if you're a Pokemon fan, you cannot help but have a smile on your face. You cannot help but have this like immense joy, because you actually feel like you're walking into a Pokemon Center. Like, there's Pokemon Center music playing the entire time that you're there. There are employees talking over the intercom, announcing things, celebrating things. And there's really just this feeling of liveliness. And every Pokemon Center that I went into was busy. It was also the week of the release of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, so a lot of what people were looking for were Fuecoco and the new starters and the new legendaries and new plushies, and everything in regards to that particular game was in the Pokemon Center as well, and that was really cool to see. Pokemon card items were mostly just accessories at the Pokemon Centers. If you wanted to find packs or cards, you had to actually go to like independent Pokemon card stores, because at the Pokemon Centers, they did have a limited selection of booster boxes that you had to ask for up at the front. I think when I went, it was Dark Phantasma and Pokemon Go, kind of 2 sets that were definitely people were a little less geared toward wanting to buy. But what you would typically find in terms of Pokemon card related stuff was custom sleeves, like Pokemon Center exclusive sleeves. There were tons of those, as well as some pre-constructed decks that you could just buy to start playing the game with, and some binders and stuff like that. It was mostly accessories when it came to Pokemon cards, not necessarily boxes, packs, anything like that. As you make your way to the back of the Skytree Pokemon Center, that's where the shiny Rayquaza will meet you, also coming down from the sky, and that is a really cool one. And this particular Pokemon Center was the first time that I saw an adjoin arcade. So there were kids playing on different arcade machines, and this is where, if you've bought anything off Buy or any proxy place where you purchase things from Japan, you see those little like arcade pucks. At Collecticons and stuff, you'll see like big bins of them and stuff. These arcade pucks are what they use in these machines. So you place the arcade puck in the machine, and then I think you can level up your Pokemon and battle with them and stuff via the arcade machine. That was really cool to see actually in action, because I've always seen those pucks but never really understood what they were used for. So when we go to the next Pokemon Centers, I will be primarily focusing on what those Pokemon Centers do differently from Pokemon Center Skytree. Because like I said, most of the merchandise you're going to see in the Pokemon Centers is very much the same, but there are unique decorations or unique interactive elements at each of the Pokemon Centers that I will be calling out from here forwards. Go to the next Pokemon Center. The second Pokemon Center I went to was the Mega Tokyo Pokemon Center. This Pokemon Center opened up on December 12th, 2014, and it's actually the oldest Pokemon Center that I visited, and it definitely feels that way, especially in comparison to two of the newer Pokemon Centers, the Shibuya and the DX Tokyo Pokemon Center. That will be coming up later in the video. This Pokemon Center is located on the second floor of the Sunshine City Alpha Building in Ikebukuro. I went here on a Sunday afternoon, and it was packed. So if you're looking for maybe a little less traffic, I would recommend going on a weekday. Mega Charizard is the flagship Pokemon for this Pokemon Center, and the promo card you received during the grand opening was the Mega Charizard Pikachu Poncho promo card, probably my favorite promo card from any of the grand openings of the Pokemon Centers that I visited. Now, to be honest, I'm pretty disappointed with the first impression of this particular Pokemon Center. When you look up images of this Pokemon Center, there is a really big Mega Charizard statue with Pikachu, riding it, kind of like the Rayquaza from the first Pokemon Center we looked at, but it wasn't there. And I think when I went, there was this massive door that was closed. And I think behind that door is where that massive statue would be, but that entire door was closed when I went. As well as being the oldest of the Pokemon Centers I went to, this is also the largest of the Pokemon Centers that I went to, and you can definitely feel that. It is room after room after room of stuff and different things to buy. And definitely, if you're looking to shop and buy a whole variety of different things for the house, decoration, stuff like that, I would highly recommend coming to this one. This one's gonna have the biggest selection of different things for you to shop from. As the oldest Pokemon Center, unfortunately though, inside the Pokemon Center, if you're not shopping and you're looking for like those cool interactive elements or an arcade or something like that, you're not gonna find that here. This is just a big shopping Pokemon Center. There was one Pokemon statue toward the back of the store of Zamazenta, one of the legendary dogs, but that was really it. And actually, the really cool things about this Pokemon Center were not actually attached to the Pokemon Center. They were outside of the Pokemon Center. So I'm going to talk about some of those things. So as you leave the Pokemon Center and you continue to explore the floor that you're on, you realize that there's Pokemon stuff littered all over this floor of Sunshine City, which is really cool. So a lot of these like center pillars are surrounded by little statues of like the starter Pokemon, for instance, like Froakie and Piplup, Pikachu. And then if you keep walking around the corner, there is a Pikachu sweets shop. It's basically a little bakery which you can get some cute little baked goods that are shaped like different Pokemon. The line was super long, so I assume either it's a nice tourist attraction or it's probably pretty good, and it was pretty adorable. There is a Garbodor trash can in front of the Pikachu sweets shop. So literal trash can, pretty awesome. Hanging out around one of those central pillars filled with Pokemon statues were some kids that were opening a booster box. I think they were doing a bit of a pack battle. That was super cool to see. But overall, if I was ranking these Pokemon Centers in terms of awesomeness, this would probably be at the bottom. In theory, if you could only hit one Pokemon Center, I would recommend going to one of the next two that I'm going to be talking about now. The third Pokemon Center that I visited while I was there was Pokemon Center Tokyo DX. This Pokemon Center opened March 13th, 2018 and is easily my second favorite Pokemon Center out of all the ones that I went to. Snorlax is the flagship Pokemon of this Pokemon Center, and this Pokemon Center gave out two promo cards during their grand opening, the Gentleman Costume Pikachu promo card and the Cherry Blossom Afro Pikachu promo card. This Pokemon Center is located in kind of a swanky shopping district of Tokyo, and it's really cool how when you first walk up to it, it's very nondescript. There's nothing on the outside that screams Pokemon Center. There's a small sign at the top that just says Pokemon Center DX. And then when you walk in, there's a mural on either side before you get to an elevator. And that elevator only goes to one place, and that is the Pokemon Center. It's a really kind of wild entrance to this really cool Pokemon Center experience that you're about to have. As you exit the elevator, you're immediately hit with Snorlax. Big old Snorlax with Mew and Pikachu. It's super adorable and cute. And actually, if you look at the background of Snorlax, you can see it's kind of like a textured wall, but the texture is the Pokedex. All of those little gray textured dots or sections on that back wall starts from Pokedex number 1 on the left and goes all the way to the end of, I think, Sun and Moon right now. So they have quite a bit to update. If you walk to the left, you'll see the Pokemon Cafe. Now, I had a reservation for the Pokemon Cafe, but I totally didn't realize that it was the day before I actually showed up for my reservation, so I wasn't able to actually take part in my Pokemon Cafe experience, but hopefully next time I'll be able to do that. And then to the right, you walk into the actual Pokemon Center. As you walk past Snorlax to go actually into the Pokemon Center, you're met with this kind of big wall that has essentially a timeline of different events that have happened throughout the Pokemon games, the Pokemon anime, different scenes and things, and just this really cool wall collage that has all these really interesting things and all these really memorable, nostalgic moments from the games and from the anime. And that mural really leads you into the greater Pokemon Center, the shopping section of the Pokemon Center. The Pokemon Center has all of the normal things, but one layout design choice that's really unique to this Pokemon Center is in the middle of the Pokemon Center, there's this giant circular room that is just plushies. You could stand in the middle of this room and do a 360 and it's just plushies all the way around. It's this really wicked plushy circular crazy room. It's super cool. It's so colorful and there's so many different plushies of different sizes, different colors, different Pokemon. It's wild. While the rest of the Pokemon Center is very similar to the other ones that we've already seen in terms of the shopping experience, this one has a really cool interactive element. So across from some of the arcade games that we've seen before, there's an on-the-wall futuristic touchscreen Pokedex that you can actually scroll through, and it shows you all this different information of all the different Pokemon. You can sort via name or Pokemon number, and then when you click on a particular Pokemon, it gives you all the different stats and information for that Pokemon, and it's all just on the glass wall. It's super duper cool looking. It's one of those futuristic interactive elements that we're going to see in the newer Pokemon Centers, including the next Pokemon Center, Shibuya. Now in this Pokemon Center, I decided to buy a booster box of Pokemon cards. And this was a really interesting experience. So on the little kiosks that have the sleeves and the deck boxes, stuff like that, there will be little flyers that will say what booster boxes are available and that you have to go to the front and ask for a booster box to purchase. So I decided that I was going to buy a Pokemon Go booster box. So I went up to the register, and an interesting thing that they did was they had to cut the cellophane on the booster box at the register to kind of incentivize you or force you to have to open the cards yourself and not resell the cards on the secondary market. Overall, I was really disappointed that I missed my Pokemon Cafe reservation. That was going to be a super fun experience, but this Pokemon Center I've been to now a few times, and every time I go in there, it's just super cool. Next up is my personal favorite Pokemon Center and the overall coolest, best experience of all the Pokemon Centers. It's the Shibuya Pokemon Center. The Shibuya Pokemon Center opened on November 2nd, 2019, which makes it the newest Pokemon Center of all the ones that I have visited. And just like the Pokemon Center Tokyo DX, the newer Pokemon Centers have some really awesome interactive elements and overall designs to them. And this one is incredible. Mewtwo is the flagship Pokemon of this particular Pokemon Center. You're gonna see that in a second. And the promo card given out at the grand opening of this Pokemon Center was the Shibuya Graffiti Pikachu card. Now, I've made a point for all of these Pokemon Centers to talk about the first impression, because the first impression is really gonna tell you a lot about what you're gonna experience in each of these stores. The first impression at this store is the Mewtwo. A life-size Mewtwo suspended in the actual test tube. Not only that, the Mewtwo actually talks and goes through different animations, different colors, different things. It's an actual like interactive element of the store. It's constantly changing and moving and talking and doing different things. It's so cool. This store has a very like spaceship, science fiction-y kind of vibe when you walk in. The different decorations, the way that it's presented is very much almost like you're on an alien spaceship. In contrast to that science fiction-y vibe, there is also kind of a hipstery vibe, and that's where that graffiti Pokemon promo card comes in, because there are designs on the walls as you enter of Mew and Mewtwo that are made from like a graffiti artist. Again, like the Pokemon Center DX, there are some interactive elements inside of this Pokemon Center as well. One of them is a cool like design your own t-shirt kiosk. There were a bunch of people lined up at these different kiosks, and they were actually putting like these kind of designed elements onto a t-shirt, whether it was an outline of a Pokemon or some sort of like action element or something. They were designing a t-shirt that I think then would print, and you could walk out of that Pokemon Center with a custom t-shirt that you created while you were there. Now the lines were super long for that, so I didn't make a t-shirt, but I did do the other interactive element. The other interactive element was like an augmented reality sort of customize a Pokemon based on your own appearance sort of game. So when you stepped up in front of the screen, you had to choose either between Pikachu or Piplup, and you would raise your hand out to one side or the other, and that would select that Pokemon for you. When you select your Pokemon, there's a camera that's scanning you. It's scanning what you're wearing on your head, what you're wearing for a shirt, what you're wearing, your pants and your shoes and stuff like that. And after it scans everything that you're wearing, it then customizes the Pokemon that you chose with those elements that you're actually wearing. My Piplup ended up looking like a badass, probably because it got confused by the fact that I'm holding up a phone and my hat, so it gave him sunglasses, but hey, pretty badass looking Piplup right there. The rest of the store was very much more of the same. A lot of the shopping, a lot of the different merchandise and stuff was stuff that you'd see at the other stores, but the floor that you're on has a bunch of other awesome nerd-related stores. There's a Nintendo store right across from it. There was a Capcom store off to the right with a life-size Ryu. There was some other really cool places to check out while you're on that floor, so definitely look around and enjoy yourself. So that's it. As Pokemon fans, I highly recommend that if you ever find yourself in Tokyo or in any major city in Japan, most of them have Pokemon centers, and you should definitely go to one. Thank you guys for watching. Hit the like and subscribe button. We'll see you on the next video.